The Surgeon General has declared gun violence a public health crisis in the United States. Dr. Vivek Murthy says the move is driven by the fast-growing number of injuries and deaths involving firearms. Joining us now to talk more about this decision is visiting Assistant Professor Pina Violano with the Quinnipiac University School of Nursing. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first question for you. As a former nurse, you have, of course, firsthand experience with gun violence. When you think about a public health issue, a lot of people think a disease, some illness. Please explain to viewers how this is a public health crisis.
Hey, first, I'd like to say that I am still a nurse. I'm just not practicing at the bedside anymore, but was previously a trauma nurse, ER and ICU nurse. When you talk about public health issues, if we look at gun violence in its current state right now, it has surpassed motor vehicle accidents and heart disease and cancer. So it clearly is a public health issue.
And now the Surgeon General is calling for an increase in gun violence research. Why is that important for doctors?
Yeah, and not just for doctors, for nurses, anyone in the healthcare profession, it's important. We need to know why people own guns, what motivates them to use it, what can motivate them to turn them in, and more importantly, what their storage practices are, and who has access to those firearms, such as children, individuals that may be suicidal, someone that may be mentally impaired, someone in a domestic violence situation, and of course, criminals.
And Professor, what are physicians, nurses seeing in the hospitals when it comes to gun violence and the victims of this?
We're seeing a ton of it, and not just in the hospitals itself. It's throughout anywhere that we go, where children play, where we go shopping. People are not feeling safe outside. But what happens too, it's not just the victims that are affected, it's their families, it's the entire community. When you instill fear of being shot while you're shopping or having your children play outside, it impacts us all in many different ways.
And the Surgeon General also wants Congress to pass new gun regulations, including a ban on automatic rifles and universal background checks. What do you recommend as some other solutions?
Any other solutions, safe storage practices, making sure that people are responsible gun owners. It's not about taking the guns away from responsible gun owners, but educating our children to not play with guns, to report if they see a gun. But more importantly, again, that storage practice is clearly something we want to drive home and make sure that those guns do not get into the hands of individuals that shouldn't have them. And we need to do all we can to educate our public on that.
And of course, it's very important that if you see something, say something. We say that all the time, especially reporting on the tragic incidents of gun violence and just spreading this message. Very important. Professor Pina Violano with the Quinnipiac University School of Nursing, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.